at it again, and we've got to talk about MSNBC. But before we get into it, I do want to say I apologize if my voice sounds a little funny or if I get a little hoarse, losing my voice a little bit. So bear with me, okay? But we got to talk about MSNBC today and the absolute Hollywood acting that they are doing. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in. Now, so you see the headline here. MSNBC host breaks down full-on sobbing and emotional segment with hero January 6th cop. All right. MSNBC host Jonathan Capehart broke down into tears on Saturday as he introduced former D.C. Metro police officer Michael, I'm not sure how to pronounce his last name, Michael F., on to discuss the events of J6 on the third anniversary of the violent riot that breached the Capitol building. Michael was attacked by the mob of Donald Trump supporters in that violent assault and has since been an outspoken commentator on the attack and political issues stemming from it, including Trump's 2024 campaign. Capehart began the show by recounting some of the events of that day, Michael's assault, and how Trump has embraced the rioters. Here we are 3 years after the insurrection. We are still living with the consequences of that day, the persistent threats to our democracy, he said, with Republican voters casting their first Republican primary votes this month. Donald Trump continuing to hold a commanding lead, an expanding lead in polls. We are faced with the startling possibility that the man impeached for inciting the riots on January 6th could be elected again. And let me tell you something, Mr. Capehart. He will be elected again. He will step back into that office again. Okay? But I'll get more into that. Let's check out the actual clip of of these two exchanging words. Check it out.
Thank you for what you did 3 years ago today. Please tell me your thoughts on this third anniversary.
Fake tears. Not a single tear fell from this man's eyes.
Thank you for what you did 3 years ago today. Please tell me your thoughts on this third anniversary.
Not a single tear, but let's go.
We are still in the midst of the same fight that began on January 6th, 2021. And we have a lot at stake in this country. And I think that it deserves every American's attention.
You know, Donald Trump continues to defend the insurrectionists, as he did at a rally in Iowa last night. Listen to this.
Those J6 hostages going to jail for 20 years and 18 years and 12 doctors, lawyers, carpenters, electricians, truck drivers. It's one of the saddest things. It'll go down as one of the saddest things in the history of our country. And they went there to protest a rigged election.
Officer, note, how damaging is it for Trump to label those violent rioters who were criminally charged and convicted as hostages? The man who attacked you with that stun gun was sentenced to more than 12 years in prison.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, you got to think about those individuals that received those lengthy sentences. They did so because, A, they engaged in an insurrection, but their actions that day were violent. And that,
mind you, if I'm correct, once again, I apologize about my voice, but somebody help me. If I'm correct, I don't believe any of them actually went to prison for insurrection charges. Maybe I'm mistaken. You know, maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I'm living in an alternate universe, but I don't believe, including Trump, has never been convicted of insurrection. Y'all let me know in the comment section. I'm just asking. You know, I don't know.
And you got to think about those individuals that received those lengthy sentences. They did so because, A, they engaged in an insurrection, but their actions that day were violent, and that violence, excuse me, was directed towards law enforcement officers. And so, you know, I think it's clear that they deserve the sentences that they received. But by Donald Trump referring to them as hostages and speaking about them sympathetically, he's lending his authority as the former president to their actions. And he's telling Americans, his supporters, that I'm going to continue to support you and I'll do everything I can. And if I become president, I'll even pardon you if you can commit acts of violence on my behalf.
That's a load of crap. That's a load of crap. Because the last thing that I checked, Trump said peacefully, but they always skip over that. And nobody ever talks about, you know, the Maxine Waters of the world, who literally called to her and Democrat, you know, followers, right, to go and harass folks in public and let them know that they aren't welcome, right? Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about Chuck Schumer and him giving his speech.
Thank you.
Hold on.
For what you did.
Wait. I guess you wanted to speak again. Nobody talks about Chuck Schumer basically doing the exact same thing as well. Nobody wants to talk about that. Why were Democrats so adamant on not releasing all of the tapes? What were they so afraid of? One of the excuses that they came up with was privacy, but wasn't Nancy Pelosi recording a documentary on the day of J6 in the Capitol? So if it's so private, why are you making a documentary? And wasn't Nancy Pelosi the one that basically exposed that they have an underground tunnel that they can leave the building through? Instead of walking out through the front doors, they can go down below the building through a tunnel that's connected to another, a separate building. Wasn't that Nancy Pelosi? Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe I am mistaken. Maybe my memory has failed me and I'm just not remembering the facts correctly. You guys can let me know in the comment section. But, I just find the double standard quite interesting. And the American people at large, I believe, understand and see the double standard, which is why you see Trump rising in the polls. It's why when the indictments started coming down, his polls started to go up at every turn. Every time they hit him with something, his polls went up. And here we go again, attacking him. And now they're saying, oh, well, Nikki Haley might beat Trump. And yeah, that's a load of crap. I'll believe it when I see it. How about that? All right. I'll believe it when I see it. How about that? Right. But this isn't the first time that these guys have put on, their best Hollywood impersonation in acting. Check out AOC, who was selected through a casting herself, which is a whole nother separate conversation. Check out her recount of J6. Check it out.
If this was the journey that my life was taking, that I felt that things were going to be okay. And that, I had fulfilled my purpose. Anyways, sorry guys. So anyways, if this was the journey that my life was taking, that I felt that things were going to be okay.
Now, I paused it here for a reason. Do you guys notice anything? Or the lack of something? What is she wiping? Can I ask that question? Is that allowed? Am I allowed to ask that question? Because, these days, it seems like, people on the right aren't allowed to make any types of statements or ask any types of questions. So I just want to make sure I'm allowed to even ask that question. Like, what is she wiping? Can anybody tell me? Can anybody tell me? Here, let's zoom in a little bit. I don't see a single thing. No tears falling. Interesting. So what exactly is she wiping? She's wiping her skin, her face? Like, I'm confused.
And that
Literally nothing there. Nothing. And even at the end, when she does it again, there's still nothing there.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. So anyways.
Nothing. Nothing. So these political actors, man, they've stepped their game up a little bit, which to be expected, right? If I were in their position, I'd be doing everything possible to stay in power too. Knowing what, if I were in their shoes, knowing what I had done and knowing what I am faced up against, and that is Trump, who we have tried our hardest to get rid of him. And, I always go back to The Undertaker in wrestling because I used to watch it a lot as a kid. And there was a wrestling match where they put him in a casket, right? And, you thought he was deceased, and all of a sudden he sat back up. He sat straight up. And I see that as Trump. They thought they had him buried, and he sat up right there in the casket. And everybody said, oh, crap. What are we going to do now? And I see that as the same type of moment, right? The same type of situation. Trump rose up again. They thought they had him buried. They were ready to close the casket and put him in the dirt. Not so fast. Not so fast, right? And he came back stronger. Stronger than he's ever been. I saw an article. I can't remember if I saved it or not. I hope I did. But I saw an article that was talking about how Trump is poised to receive the most votes from black people a Republican has ever received. Crap, where did I see that at? I thought I saved it, but apparently I didn't, unfortunately. I'll have to see if I can find that again. But I also want to show you guys this post right here. Excuse me. So from interactive polls, between Biden and Trump, who do you think is more likely to win the 2024 general election? Pennsylvania, Trump by 11. Michigan, Trump by 7. Now, granted, this is just what people think is likely to happen, right? So I just want to emphasize that. So there's no misinformation. Arizona, Trump by 14. Florida, Trump by 11. North Carolina, Trump by 11. Georgia, Trump by 6. So across the board, I mean, Trump is winning in every single poll, right? No matter how you ask some of these questions. And that's why I wanted to show you guys this, because, yeah, this is what people think. But the point is, no matter how you ask the question, what kind of poll it is, where it's from, right? Even hard left polls have Trump winning. And if you walk around and ask people, people want Trump. I showed you guys the video from the Bronx, right? Of just regular folks walking the streets in the Bronx. Hey, bring back my boy Trump. Trump 24. I have no clue what they're going to do, but it's going to have to be something major. They're going to have to cut the power, which is definitely possible. So make sure you're prepared. All right. But it's going to have to be something drastic or they aren't going to win. Trump's going to win in a landslide, and it's going to be the most embarrassing thing for them ever. So not only will they be embarrassed to no end, but they're also all going to be prosecuted. Because Trump's coming back like a bull in a china shop, which is why they're so afraid, right? And there's been reports that, people like Nancy Pelosi and Hillary are going to leave the country if Trump is reelected. I wonder why they would leave the country. Allegedly, of course. Allegedly. I got to say that. I just find that little tidbit quite interesting that I came across. I've actually seen that a few times. Nancy Pelosi and Hillary and some other people allegedly said they would leave the country if Trump was reelected. cry me a river, right? Cry me a river. But anyway, y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.